Okay, we just talked about the functions of central bank. It can regulate commercial banks and also control the growth of the economy, the price level, okay, the employment, and also exchange rate. And basically, there are three tools that the central bank can use. One is we call discount rate. Okay? But even though we say it is discount rate, but actually the translation is this. Okay? So in the 1970s, actually this word exists called rediscount rate. So what is this? Because when people borrow money from commercial banks, okay, we call discount. So usually you write a commercial paper, okay, and so commercial paper. Lin Wenxun, what would be commercial paper? 4 words. Commercial paper. 4 words. The first two is commercial. So what is that? What's commercial? Okay, exactly. The last two? Exactly. So you write a commercial paper and to get funds from the bank, and the bank discount it. So for example, you write a 1 million, right? Commercial paper, but the bank only pays you 980,000, okay, because it's a discount, and this discount means the interest or the service charge, okay? So if we borrow from the bank, it's called discount, and the commercial bank borrow from the central bank, it discounts again, right? So it's called rediscount rate. But for the moment, okay, now I haven't seen any exception. It is just called discount rate. But in terms of translation, we call it 重贴现率, okay? And so, to affect the economy, there's only, in terms of money supply, money demand, right? If you want the economy to be better, okay, to stimulate the economy, money supply has to go up. If you want the economy, okay, to slow down a little bit, here, right? Increase interest rate. And this interest rate is the discount rate. And this is the benchmark, okay? This is the benchmark. So everything else comes from here because this is the cost for the banks. And usually for consumer like us, right, it will be higher. So for example, in Taiwan, actually is by the time deposit, okay, time deposit of post office account, okay? And if you are a person of good credit, usually you get markup, okay, a little bit less. And if you are someone that are really risky, then your markup is a little bit more, okay? Just like we talk about, people or, enterprises, they borrow money in the, world central, the financial center like London, right? Then it is a markup of, say, 300 basis point, maybe, just 200 or maybe even less, okay? It is all based on that, depending on your risk. Okay, so let us say our purpose is to make the economy better, okay, to stimulate the economy. So if you're going to do that, okay, you want to get money supply goes up, the discount rate has to go down. Okay, the discount rate has to go down because when it goes down, it is cheaper to borrow money. Okay, so a lot of people, a lot of banks, a lot of companies, they're going to borrow more. Okay, and if they borrow more, money supply is going to go up. Okay, and the second one is required reserve ratio. Let me put it RRR, okay? Required reserve ratio. If you want to increase money supply, okay, then you has to have it go down, right? Remember, the most simple form of money multiplier is 1 over RRR, right? If this one goes down, it means this one goes up, right? So you get more money, okay? You get more money in the economy, okay? So I want to see if people can still remember that. So we say money is equal to C plus D, right? And also money is equal to B, monetary base, times money multiplier. Okay? So, Chen Youxi, what is B? Remember that? Okay. Louder. What is B? Louder. Monetary base. So what is it? It has, I think it has 3 items, right? It has 3 items. C, currency, right? And also R. R is reserve. And R has 2 items, right? It includes excess reserve and required reserve. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you still remember everything because, you know, the midterm is going to come in soon. So it sounds like easy, okay? In terms of interest rate, discount rate, okay? If you want to increase money supply, just decrease it, okay? And if you want to increase money supply, you decrease required reserve ratio so that commercial banks can lend more money out of their vault, and so increase money multiplier, and so we will increase money supply. And then the last one. Last one is we call open market operation. Open market operation. Okay? And what can the central bank do? They can buy bonds and they can sell bonds. Okay, if you buy bonds, if central bank buys bonds, bonds coming in, right? Buy bonds, bonds coming in. But then money goes out, okay? Buy bonds, money goes out to exchange for the bonds. So if you buy bonds, money supply will go up. And if you sell bonds, money supply will go down. Okay? So basically, it sounds like very easy, right? Okay? But remember, as I have told you, if the interest rate just changes a little bit, okay, that is a 20 basis point, 30 basis point, that will have a big impact on the market, okay, on the balance sheets of the banks and also on the amount of mortgages people are going to pay. So it changes a lot, okay? So it sounds like a simple question here. If you want to increase employment, increase production, increase GDP, what you going to do? Okay? Lower down the discount rate. Lower down the required reserve ratio. Or buy bonds. Okay? And generally, the central bank, you know, they have a whole bunch of economists studying the relationship between interest payment and also the fluctuation of the economy and maybe also the financial market. So it's really not that easy, okay? It's very complicated because if you just changes a little bit, it's gonna have a big impact on the economy, okay? But in terms of the transaction volume, okay, it is tens of hundreds of $billions each day. So, and as you may have heard of, you know, for the U.S. Treasury, I mean the deficits, okay, the deficits, and also the interest payment on the Treasury bond, all these things, is a very heavy burden on the U.S. economy. So people worry about, you know, how the national debt of America could be sustainable. Now, I think according to the most recent figure I have seen, the national debt of the U.S. economy, sorry, it sounds like $32 trillion. Just the interest payment is more than the funding for the Department of Defense. So it's kind of crazy. In terms of Taiwan, it's okay for us, but if you really look at a lot of situation, is not that optimistic. It doesn't look good. Okay. For example, recently they are cutting some of the funding, like Social Security. People say in 2033, the Social Security of the United States will go bankrupt. Okay? And that is similar to Taiwan. We talked about this before, labor insurance, right? In Taiwan, it is labor insurance. Insurance. Okay, Lin Shengkai, what is labor insurance? Okay. Exactly. I told you before, right? You have to worry about it, not me, because I'm going to retire in 5 years. I will get paid. But what about you? You will be in trouble. Anyway. Okay, and a few minutes ago we talked about sterilization, right? Sterilization. 一倍针 sterilization in Mandarin, 4 words. Sorry, I just erased it. Sterilization, 4 words. The last 2 words is policy, Mandarin. Okay, Li Boyan, can you say that? Sterilization. Chen Youqi, sterilization. Remember that? Okay, let us imagine this is a situation, okay? Because Taiwan is is this one, right? So here we are going to talk about sterilization. Sterilization. As I say, for any policy that central bank is doing, okay, there's gonna be an impact on money supply, okay? And we don't want that. I mean, we just wanna, for example, we just wanna affect exchange rate and not monetary policy, okay? And so what we're gonna do? And so Taiwan is an export-oriented economy. So we usually want NT to go down, depreciate, okay? Usually that is the case. We want NT to go down, okay, to depreciate. And that's the reason I mentioned Maurice Chen. Okay, so Maurice Chen, what did he say? Maurice Chen say, if you want to save the economy of Taiwan, you've got to have NT depreciate, okay? If you want to save the economy of Taiwan, you've got to have NT depreciate, okay? So Lin Zhenkai, do you agree with Maurice Chen, the boss of TSMC? Do you agree with him? No. So why? Why not?
No reason.
No reason. Okay. Anyway, Li Boyan, you don't agree with him. So why?
因为不符合我的利益。
You are an importer, is that right? Okay. So this is the case, right? Because Taiwan, because if you hear next year, right? We talk about Taiwan is a country with a lot of export, right? 70%, and also a lot of import, 50%, 60%. So some people, they are exporters, so they would like NT to go down, right? Because that they're going to be more competitive. But if NT goes down, what happens? You have to pay more to get oil, to get soybeans, to get food, to get wheat, right? To get flour. So Maurice Chen, he's an exporter, so that's what he said, right? But you are an importer, right? And because Taiwan, we import a lot of oil, right? If you have NT goes down, what happened? You have inflation, right? Because you have to pay more NT to get oil. So because of that, of course, you're going to have inflation because oil, everyday transaction, okay, everyday life. You use electricity, you use car, you use motorbike, right? It is all in your cost. And so inflation is going to go up. So anyway, Maurice Chen, he stands for TSMC. That's it, okay? But some people working on imports, right? So you have different kind of idea about what economy should do. Okay, anyway. So let us say, the central bank wants to keep NT going down, okay? So Yang Junxiang, if you are the central bank and you want to keep NT going down, what would you do? How to keep NT going down? And in this case, we only talk about two currencies. One is NT, the other is US dollar. So if you want to get NT goes down, what would you need to do? Okay, so. Excuse me? Okay, anyway. What would you need to do? We have only two things. One is NT, one is US dollar. So what would you need to do? If you want NT goes down, right? What would you need to do? You have to sell something, right? For example, in a foreign exchange market, right? People want to buy US dollars and, or sell US dollars. Okay? Probably you should sell US dollar, right? Sell US dollar. Okay, central bank gonna do this. Why? If you sell US dollar, right? US dollar supply goes up, right? Oh, sorry, I get it wrong. You have to buy it, right? You have to buy it. Okay, because you buy US dollar, right? You buy US dollar. US dollar demand goes up, right? US dollar demand goes up. So US dollar price goes up, and then NT goes down. Okay? Okay. So if you want to support, I mean, you want to make NT goes down, right? If you want to make NT goes down, you have to buy US dollar. Okay? Because if you buy US dollar, demand for US dollar will go up, right? And then the price of US dollar will go up. But suppose the economy is already good. So the economy is already good. Okay? So what will be the impact? Because you buy US dollar is the same thing as buy bonds, right? If you buy US dollar, okay, US dollar coming in. But what happened? NT goes up, right? Money supply of NT goes up, okay? And suppose the economy is already quite good. What happened? It will be risky because it will increase consumption, increase investment further, right? So in this case, for sterilization, okay, for this, what would you need to do? Because the economy is already good. The point is, I only want to affect exchange rate. Okay, I only want to affect exchange rate. So what does that mean? I have to get out, okay, all the extra money supply. Okay, I have to buy, then I have to sell bonds. So this is what we call sterilization. Okay, because at this point, the central bank only wants to get NT depreciate. And the central bank doesn't want to affect the economy, okay, because it's already very good. And if you buy US dollar, what happened? You're going to increase money supply further. You get too much money out. So you want to do something to get the extra money back to the central bank. So what would you do? You sell bonds, because you sell bonds and take money in. So this is we call sterilization. Okay, questions? So Xu Zhaoxian, would you summarize a little bit what I said here in Mandarin? Okay, want to try? Okay. Get this done, right? Okay, and then, but what happened? Okay, so the economy is already good, right? So what would you do to get the extra money inside the bank? Okay, because you sell bonds going out, right? And money coming in to get rid of the extra money. Okay, so this is called sterilization. Okay, questions? Okay, so far so good. So we still have some time. Let me briefly tell you what we're gonna do next. It is called ISLN. Okay, so we have IS curve and then LM curve. So what is IS? I is equal to S. And what is LM? Is money demand equal to money supply. Okay? So remember, when we have Keynes model, so this is Keynes model, we have YS, you have AE, and then this is 45-degree line, and you have aggregate expenditure, and here is what you get, the equilibrium income, right? This is for Keynesian model. And then the drawback here is that you haven't discussed anything about price. So what we need to do, we get a new model, right? Here is Y, here is P, and here it is, AS, and here is AD. So aggregate demand, aggregate supply, okay? And you know that at this horizontal section, okay, at this horizontal section, the multiplier effect is the same for Kenn's basic model and also the aggregate supply, aggregate demand model. So when it is in this section, okay? So when it is here, when aggregate supply is horizontal, Keynesian model and aggregate ASAD model predicts the same multiplier effect. But, you know, because Keynesian model doesn't discuss price level, and if you increase aggregate demand, it will increase price level. So when aggregate supply is at this section, okay, the multiplier effect is smaller here and here is greater, okay, because in Keynesian model, it doesn't say anything about price. It assumes price is fixed. But here, as you know, if you increase aggregate demand, price level will go up. And now, we're going to talk a bit further on this. This is Y, this is R. Okay, remember here, because it is GDP, okay, we put it as real GDP. If this is real GDP, this is real interest rate. As I have told you several times, the textbook, okay, it tells the difference between nominal and real interest rate. Okay, nominal and real interest rate. But in our case, okay, we only talk about real GDP because, real interest rate, because here is the production level. If it is real GDP production level, it should be real interest rate. Okay, and then what else you're going to get? This is IS curve, and this is LM curve. So how to get that? Okay. Okay, so because IS curve, I is equal to S, investment equals saving. And for LM curve, money supply equals money demand. Okay, so what would you get? Here, the same thing. If the question asks you how to derive IS curve, how do you go from there? Then you just look at the question, and the question is going to tell you C plus I plus G. Okay? You solve for this equation. Okay? You solve for this equation, and then you can get IS curve. And for this one, okay, how are you going to work out it? So you have money supply, okay, and then you have money demand. So you get the equation, okay, to put money supply equal money demand, and then you can solve for LM curve. Okay, so just let me tell you basically what we're going to do. Okay, so we have two models. One is Keynesian model. One is money supply, money demand model. Okay, And you want to get from here to here, and from here to here. So how are you going to do that? So the trick is to see the variables. So here you have y, you have r, right? Okay? Here you have y. Do you have r? No. Okay, so you want to treat interest rate as an exogenous variable. Okay, treat interest rate as an exogenous variable. And from there, you're going to get two aggregate expenditure curve. And then from there to get 2 points, and then you can get IS curve. And here you have M and you have R, right? So you have R, but you don't have Y. Okay? So then you use Y as an exogenous variable. So Y goes up, money demand going to go up. Y goes down, money demand going to go down. So from here you can get 2 points, and from here you use R, right? R goes up, aggregate expenditure goes down. And so the same thing, you're going to get 2 interest rate level, and then you're going to get 2 equilibrium income. And so from there, you can get IS curve. And from here, using Y as an exogenous variable, you're going to get LM curve. So that's what we're going to do next time. And also, because when you have 2 curves, you want to make sure that you know how it changes, just like supply and demand. Okay, you have increase in supply, decrease in supply. The same thing, you have, shifting the IS curve and also shifting the LM curve. What are the variables that affect the curves, and what is the consequence? What will be the impact on the production level and also interest rate? And that's what we'll discuss next week. Thank you.